Welcome, everyone. We're just getting to let everybody into the room here, flooding in. Hello, everybody. Hello. While we're waiting for everybody, go ahead and put into the chat what part of the country you are from and where you are hanging out in the chat. So let's see where you are hanging out. And let's see, Minnesota. Beautiful. Hopefully it's starting to, get a little warmer. Montgomery, Alabama, Pennsylvania. Good to see you guys. Welcome to this webinar today. Really pumped to have you. And so, yeah, we're going to get started here. California, Sarasota, great. Texas, Ron, what's up? Good to see you. So welcome, everyone. Glad you're here. I'm joined by Brian Mitchell, who will do a lot of the sharing today as he clears his throat. I'm just kidding. And I'm also joined by Nathan and Benjamin. Now, these guys are so handsome that if they were on video, you would be distracted and would not be able to watch the content. So we have to keep their faces hidden for that reason, so that you guys focus on what we're saying today. Because what we're saying today is very, very important. So thank you guys for hopping on. Really excited to get started. So what we're going to talk about, let's do it now, is how to grow a scalable service department. It's amazing, the power of a service department. We're going to get into a lot of detail today. And in fact, we're going to have a bonus at the end. You have to stay until the end to get the bonus opportunities. So be sure to strap in your seatbelt, throw your phone across the room so you don't get distracted, and make this be the most, best hour you spend on your business this week. So we'll go to the next slide as I make an introduction. If you have not met me yet, my name is Ryan Groth, CEO of Sales Transformation Group. We are a sales growth and transformation platform serving the roofing and other trade industries. We care passionately about seeing people grow. I started in the business years ago as my parents had a construction business. I saw the pains they went through. I was envisioning being a success story that takes their business to the next level, and being successful as a person. We all want to do this, and most of the reason why we do it is for family, and to grow our personal lives and make it better. And I just love the space. And I remember seeing the pains of not having predictability, not having systems, not having training, not having processes, not having accountability, not having peer groups, not having industry events. And I just saw them struggle, I saw it take over, and it hit me in a deep way. I deeply was impacted by their lack of having these things. And I was wanting the success. So instead of me kind of going right into their business, what I decided to do was play baseball. So I played collegiate and professional baseball. Now I am a men's league monster right now, proud to say, playing men's league in Maui. And having a lot of fun playing this game. But that's kind of what got me kind of going in my career. And when I didn't make it to the big leagues, which I was close to so compared to many, but I did make it. And I was just kind of like saying, hey, I got to reinvent myself. I was in South Florida, networked with a lot of people, and I met a contractor down there. This contractor is one of the more forward-thinking commercial roofing contractors in the space. I became like a mentor, like a business mentor for me. Invested 4.5 years. He gave me probably 30% of who he was with his time into teaching me what he knew. And with that, I also saw the industry at a larger level and saw the big pains in the industry. And I said, man, like I can help. I can help with training. I can help with software, technology. And we can transform businesses and see people have predictable revenue, see people have controlled growth over time, invest into people, sales careers. I saw things that I never really knew was there. And I was like, I can help change this. And so we did do that. And then I started STG, Sales Transformation Group, 4 years ago. So I've been almost 10 years in this space. And 4 years ago, I started STG. And now, we work remote in this day and age. I do travel the mainland quite a bit, but I have 4 children, and we have, about almost 600 that we brought on of contractors since starting the business. And then I brought Brian on close to a year ago after he retired. from the same company that I met him at, the same roofing company. And he wanted to be in Asheville and just kind of have more flexibility, but he wasn't quite ready to hang up the spikes or throw in the towel with work. And I was like, man, you got to come. We got to figure this out. And it's been just a great fit. And so Brian has come on, and he's just been a great asset. So he's going to be the expert that I collaborate with today. Brian, let everybody know who you are, and love for them to know you if you don't know Brian yet.
Yeah, how's it, guys? I'm going to be talking with a bit of an accent, and that means I'm one of the privileged people that have been allowed to live and work in this country. So it's awesome. I love it. Ryan and I have had a great opportunity to work together. It's been excellent. I've been around the roofing business for 25, 30 years, I guess it is, and managed to have a little break in the middle to do some traveling around and set up non-profits in about 50 countries. So that was a nice opportunity too. But this spending time working with contractors and helping them build their business is awesome.
Sure is. Sure is. So here's where we're headed today. We're going to talk about the top 5 problems that you may be facing right now. So stay in there and connect. I'm going to ask you some questions on that, see if this resonates with you, because you're not here just for your entertainment. You're here to get better, and you're here to fix a problem today. You're here to get better in your business. We do have that bonus at the end, like I said, so stay to the end. Then we're going to get to know service more, growing a serving business, and how we can help. So let's go to the next slide and talk about the 5 problems roofing business owners have before creating a service division, or having a very good one at that. Problem number 1 is business revenue operates like a roller coaster. If you are living in a revenue roller coaster where it's up and then it's down, up and down, please put into the chat right now so I can see I am on the roller coaster, and it's pretty crazy. Describe the roller coaster feeling if you have it, if you're on it. Now, reason why is, like, if you're a roofing contractor, it may be like, hey, a storm hits, so we hurry up and get a bunch of work. And then, so you do a bunch of work, and then the storm, you do all the work that you can, and then there's no weather event. So maybe you wait for the next storm. So there's your revenue roller coaster. Or you don't have you have this big seasonality swing in your where you live geographically, right? You have, it's cold or it's hot, or it's spring times when it starts, and summer's when you make your lion's share of your business, and then winter, it's like you can't keep any employees because you're burning through your cash balance, and because you don't have any work, you can't keep your crews ready. They can't even be on the roof. It's too cold. There's just a lot going on, and you're like, man, like, how do I level this out and create more sustainability, more predictability? Because when you're on a roller coaster, you don't know when it's going to shift left. You don't know when it's going to shift right. And so what you do is you lose sleep at night. You worry about what is going to come in so you can have some work for your crews to do that you've worked so hard to invest in. Because I don't know about you guys, but what happens when the guys in the field start to chirp that there's no work? You know what they do? They don't say, oh, owner, I'm loyal to you till I die. They're like, dude, I got to feed my family. Where's the next place for me to go? And then they leave you. And then guess what happens? When you do have work, the companies that don't have work, they hear that you have work. And then the best crews come to you. So you don't want to be the one that doesn't have the work, right? So that's another thing, lack of incoming business. If you don't have a service department, you have to pay a lot of money for ads. You have to wait and be reactive for the phone to ring. And I don't know about you, but like, we got one shot at this life. Do you want to live a life where you're waiting for things to happen, or you want to go make things happen? Well, if you don't have a service division, you're not doing you have to go make things happen a lot. And it's harder, especially in commercial, to do that without a service department. So you're having to go make things happen with door knocking or make things happen with ads. Service fixes that problem. And then you're like, man, I just need some recurring revenue. Do you want to be this person who's looking out the window saying, I've been waiting 25 years for this? You don't want to be that person. You want to live a life where you hand this business over, you sell it, you give it to your family, you do an ESOP, whatever you do, and you're sitting here, you're handing them gold by the meaning of predictable revenue that turns increases the lifetime value of those clients. And then the biggest one that leads to not having a service department, you're trying to be a commercial roofing, is there's not enough negotiated work. Now, what does that even mean? You don't know what that means. It means work that you can negotiate, write the spec, the scope of work. You are talking to the decision maker. You're not just a bid, a number. It's not the how low can you go, reverse auction, limbo, death sentence of a commercial contractor in the new construction world. It is a relationship in which you have control over influencing the end user on the best system in which you can create value, talk to the decision makers, and have a true high margin job at the end of it. And then problem number 5 is lack of material supply. Oh, I'm a commercial roofing. I can't get material, neither can the other contractors. And if you don't have it, and you don't have a service department, then you can't do anything about it. Now you're really screwed. So you need to have a service department. These problems are just 5 major ones. There's way more that that could stem from this.
I'll just add to that, Ryan. This lack of material supply means there are a lot of roofs that are ready for re-roofing that aren't getting re-roofed. So who's keeping those guys dry, right? Somebody with a service department is going to be doing that.
Yep. All right. So here's some things you may not know about running a service business. Brian, take it from here.
All right. Well, I guess the first thing I want to talk about is recurring revenue. And the fact is, if you've got a service department and you can get a relationship with a roof, not only the owner of the roof or the property manager who manages multiple roofs, but you got a relationship with a roof, you've got an opportunity for revenue on that roof 3 to 5 times a year. Then you're going to get a chance to reskin it, re-roof it, maybe coat it, and then you get an opportunity to tear it off and re-roof. So you've got ongoing revenue, and that revenue is at a good gross margin. And of course, the only reason that this works is because it's advantageous to the building owner, right? And to the property manager. First of all, they're going to be maintaining their manufacturer's warranty. That's an important thing. People think they got a material warranty, but we'll see later they don't, if they don't have an ongoing service maintenance program. You're going to extend the life of a roof. Think of this, a guy with a roof that he has to spend $300,000 to replace, and you can extend it 5 or 10 years for him. He's got $300,000 in his pocket that he wouldn't have. That's extremely valuable, and that's really going to differentiate you. I already mentioned the ways that we can extend it. Another thing is, if this owner has a relationship with a great roofer, he's got peace of mind. When he's got a problem, he knows who to call. You're top of mind. And if you want to, you can put him under a maintenance program that's going to make his budget real easy every year. But it's not just about them, right? What about you? Or what about me? Is it the favorite radio station? WIIFM. What's in it for me? So the roof work isn't only reactive. You're getting calls for leaks, certainly, but you going out and doing maintenance work. You've got consistent revenue in slow periods. If you can sign up a lot of maintenance contracts, you don't have to do the maintenance on any specific date. You can schedule those when you're slow. I mentioned already top of mind choice. Referrals is amazing. When you're taking care of somebody's roof like this, they talk about you. And believe it or not, people talk about their roofer. And then you've got knowledge ahead of time when this roof can be recoated, reskinned, or whatever. And of course, it's profitable.
I want to make one more comment on this. These are incredible points and advantages for the contractor in the slide before for the owner. But check this out. It's not only reactive, it's proactive. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you have the ability to influence proactively the process of working with that customer. It's like T&M, hey, it's reactive. Oh my gosh, let's hurry up, and we have a T&M relationship with everybody. So let's send out the crews and be as quick as we can. But guess what happens when you don't get to them immediately, like you said you would in the first or second time? They're like, these guys aren't good. So they call somebody else. I have a really loud crying baby. Forgive me if you can hear that. Secondly, when you do a proactive relationship, you can actually do remedial repairs and proactive recommendations. And when they sign those proposals, now you have a backlog, just like you do in the construction department, right? You have a backlog, and that backlog is predictable. You could schedule out things in a backlog. You're not just reacting and saying, oh my gosh. Like, no, you have your people that can go quickly with a new customer and do it right. But when you can be proactive, you could fill up a pipeline, close those deals, and have a backlog. Now you can start to predict, and we'll talk about that more at the end, but it's very advantageous for you to have a maintenance, service and maintenance program.
Yeah, and backlog is what allows you to grow your business. If you've got a consistent backlog, you know when to expand. But then another thing, Ryan, that we should talk about is the fact that service grows the re-roofing business. And re-roofing grows a service business if you do it right. They complement each other, right? And so here's a case study with some proportional numbers over the years. And what I wanted to point out just here is that this company, over a period of 15 years, their re-roof as they grew was 5 times their service. It was a consistent number, 5 or 6 times their service number. So it's amazing that the one grows the other, and the consistency over many years.
Yeah, when you grow service, you're going to see that it'll be a total of 15 to 20% of your overall construction work or your overall revenue, because the re-roofing grows from it. And that case study is actually 98% of that is re-roofing and private work, which is most of y'all's like ideal situation. The higher margin, shorter sales cycle, relational, right? So yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. So should we get into growing and scaling a service business? In my opinion, this is all about process, and this is it's not just my opinion, it's proven. And to me, if you're going to set up a service business, you should set it up in preparation to do 3 to 5 or even 10 million a year. Set it up right from the beginning. It's not complicated. As it gets bigger, it's a little more complex, but it's certainly not more complicated. So let's look at a process here. You've just got 4 areas. You've got contact to contract, project preparation, project execution, and getting paid. And I want to mention that during this whole process, you always marketing, right? You're always talking about your company. You actually always getting paid as well. I like to start getting paid right from the very minute I get a contract. I want 50% deposit, and then I want to chase my money so that I have really a short time of my money on the street. And then the third thing is going to be training your crews. But those 3 and your team, those are your 4 steps that you're going to go through. And let's just look at them in a little more detailed view. So you notice the contact to contract, we've got multiple steps, getting opportunities and leads. Having a lot of leads is what business is all about, right? It's like having a lot of money doesn't make you happy, but it eliminates a lot of misery. Having a lot of leads makes business really enjoyable. You're going to have other problems, but at least that's not the one. So focusing on that, getting it right, and then making sure you estimate accurately so that you make your margins. Once you sell it, you got to prepare it for production. That's key, and you want to deliver what you sold. And then, as I mentioned, we're collecting all the way, but let's end every project and begin every project with a thought on how we're going to warranty this roof in the long run.
Yeah. So just so if we go back for a second, Brian,
sure.
You made a comment. You said, you should start to set up your service department as if it's a $3 to $5 to $10 million department. What this means is like a process like this, and we believe this is an ideal process. You may have 2 people and 1 truck and a manager, right? Fine. But all of these steps have to be completed. It's just going to be completed by less people, right? So as you grow, what's going to happen is the roles and responsibilities and the steps don't change. They just increase in volume, which requires more people to step in and do that. So what's amazing is that if you have a roadmap like this or something like it, you're able to have confidence that this right here will take you to 10 million. You just may not have all the staff today. You're going to need to grow that staff over time. So anyhow, very powerful step.
Good. And that's a great point, right? Because some of these steps could happen in seconds, but if you prepared, they'll get done effectively in seconds. If you're not prepared, they could stop the job. So I'll move on. And so we just discussed process. Now, process is obviously once you've got a business running and you need a process to be efficient and effective. But let's talk about the foundation of building a service company. How do we get from 1 truck to 2 to 3 to 20, whatever your goal is? And so I like to look at this in the form of a triangle or a pyramid. It's not Amway, but it does what the truth is. A triangle is going to stand better on its base than it would on its head, right? It's more balanced by standing on its base. And production capability is the solid base that you've got to build your business on. If you have a service business and you send guys out to do a repair and they get called back because it leaked, you're losing money, right? And believe me, the second time you're not going to get called back, and you're probably not going to get any more opportunities with that company. So this is a real business. You got to have real technicians who know what they're doing and train them. We do a lot of talking about training in-house. The next thing, and this isn't consecutive. You're doing all of these things together. Products and services and certifications. So the service business isn't complicated. We got 4 or 5 products. We got time and material. We got quoted work. We've got maintenance. We might have a not to exceed. We got warranty work. But I'm amazed at how many people go into the service business without clearly defining each of those products. I mean, it's not Walmart. We haven't got thousands of SKUs. We got like 4 or 5. Let's really clearly define them so everybody in our company understands them. You can wake them up at night and they'll tell you what we do for time and material. Next thing that you want to build on top of that is your estimating side. So let's talk about a typical TPO or modified roof. You get up there, how many possible problems could there be on that roof? I suggest that there are probably 20 or 30 that might show up in about 500 different ways. So what I like to do is I take those 20 or 30 and I pre-estimate them. In fact, I've done this with a couple of hundred. Have them pre-estimated. Know what your numbers are. Know what your margin is. And if you have that in place, now you can take your opportunities and make your sales effectively, administrate them, and make your profit. So, Ryan, if you don't have anything to add to that, I got one more thing.
Go ahead. I'm good.
Leads. So I mentioned it already. You got all of this in place. If you've got all of this in place, you've got your process in place, and you've got a ton of leads, you have a great business and a good night's sleep and probably a good profit if you're running it properly.
Yep. Michael, great question. We'll answer it toward the end. Stay tuned. Michael.
Yeah. Okay, good. So part of this service is differentiating yourself from the regular roofer who's just doing re-roofing, right? Service is a much more relational business. You're dealing with a client several times a year, as opposed to I did your roof, I'll see you in 25 years. And so you've got to project yourself as an asset manager, somebody who's bringing value to this property manager or this roofer. And I think one of the best documents I've ever seen to explain that is this life of a roof. A roof, like a person, has a life cycle. I'm getting on, the hearing goes, the the eyes go a little bit, as your roof gets older, it needs diapers, it needs Pampers, and the beauty about having a maintenance program in place is that you are tracking the progression of that roof. You're charging a little bit more as you go, as the roof gets older, to maintain it. But you're going to be able to be there when you're going to advise the guy, hey, there's an opportunity here to do a coating. This roof is starting to go, let's coat it. Or we're going to reskin it, something along those lines. And you know what? That probably won't be bid out. You'll probably just get that job. And then you're still there when the re-roof comes, that's probably going to go to bid. But if you've got a great relationship with that company, you might get last look at those bids. And so you're differentiating I've heard stats that say 80% of roofs get re-roofed too soon. We're going to take that away, and you're going to become a rock star in your area because of it.
So I don't think this is that important. Maybe you should skip it.
So getting leads, of course, that's the blood that keeps you going. And let's just talk about a few of the opportunities there. One of them that I love is that manufacturers actually generate roofing leads, service leads for us. Most manufacturers' warranties, in fact, all that I've seen, have a clause in there that you need to have a maintenance program. And in fact, a lot of them say you got to keep records. And if you don't have a material warranty. That's a big deal. When you're selling a re-roof, people are always talking about how long is my warranty? It's important to them.
Right.
Now you're saying to them, hey, sorry, your warranty actually doesn't exist because you don't have a maintenance program. This was a huge marketing program for us, and an effective one. Another thing you need to be doing is you got to be where the owners and the property managers are, right? Now, fortunately, property managers are party animals. They're having events all the time, but you need to be associating with these people. You need to have your name out there. You need to be top of mind. So, and then you got to have a way to meet owners. And unfortunately, SEO isn't always the way to do this. You may need a business developer or yourself going out and knocking on doors, meeting with owners, meeting with people. As you engage with different organizations, there's some great ones in the service business, you're going to have to really be involved. If you can be on the committee, people are going to come to you for advice on things or questions on things, and you're the roofer that they're going to be thinking of. So, I mean, it's a tough gig. You're going to have to play in the golf tournaments. You're going to have to go fishing, but you have to be engaged to really move forward. And then another thing I love about service is the word. You really need to serve in order to be successful at service, right? Yeah. A great way to serve is to teach people about roofing. And this can start at home. I mean, I want my receptionist to know about roofing. I want my assistant to know about roofing. But how about helping property managers know about roofing? What I had was, I felt property managers weren't making good roofing decisions. Or if I could translate that to say, property managers weren't using me to do the work on their roof. So I wanted to educate them. Once I became the educator, they came to me. Moving along, Ryan.
So contact to contract. Let's go there.
Let's just talk a little bit. Yeah. All right. So that's our first area of business. And one of the things we concerned about when we're getting leads is how good leads are they? Not all leads are equal, right? So we really need to qualify hard. First of all, to eliminate the little gas station that's never going to pay you any money to repair his roof. But on the other hand, if you're talking to someone who's calling in with a problem, Google that roof. If it's millions of square foot, you're going to pay a little bit more attention. Or if that person manages millions of square foot. So we've got these great tools that you can use while you're on the phone. The other thing is, I suggest you have this qualification form on everybody's desk. Make a notepad of it or do it digitally. So it doesn't matter who picks up the phone, you qualify that contact in the same way. You'll eliminate them the same way. you'll get the information accurately. And I'll tell you where that's also useful is when you get the contract, it's nice when you go out and actually fix the correct roof. You know, you got the right address. Not that I've ever gone and fixed the wrong roof. We'll move off that topic. Now, when you're going to that roof, the inspection part is important. And let me talk about that a little bit. If you open a service department and all you do is time and material, $800 to $1,200 per shot, you're not going to scale that business. You need to increase your average sale in order to be successful. The way to increase your average sale is to do a comprehensive inspection. So teach your guys how to inspect carefully, properly, identify deficiencies. You don't need a roofer to do this. I taught tons how to do this, and it's quick. So just make sure you're getting more than just the repair. You want to, it's basically inventory for you. If you know what's wrong with that roof, even if you don't sell it on the first shot, it's inventory. You can contact that guy later and say, hey, by the way, we should take another look at that drain, or we should take another look at that counter flashing, you know. So get your inspection down accurately. I mentioned pre-estimating, right? And so this is the way I did it. Now, I come from an estimating background, and I believe that you can accurately estimate every service job. And I want to do that, and I want to check it, and I want a job cost. So lay it out. Here's laps and splices. What do you need? You know, here's the material you need. Here's the labor you need. And that's your price that you would sell it for. The beauty of that is if you walk a roof and you find these different problems, you know what the unit price is. So you can actually multiply it. Okay, I've got so many issues with laps and splices, the 10 of them times $86, that's that. I've got an instant quote. And what I put in our quote is a description of the problem and a description of the solution. And then Ryan encouraged me to add, what's the consequence? You know, you're going to get wet, right? You're going to have water in your building. But you can do this up front. It's going to save you a ton of time. Another thing, in order to look professional, is you need a great proposal. And you need to be able to execute it quickly. From inspection to delivering a proposal should be a day. We don't need it to be 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It's got to be a day. It's got to be quick. So these factors are really key in putting your proposal together. You know, have a grade of the roof and the age and the condition. Compare it to the replacement cost of the roof. That's key. You've got pictures, tons of them. Get a 50% deposit when you get a contract. So have that invoice right there. When you do your proposal, have a proposal, a contract, and a deposit invoice. And make sure your pictures make sense. Make sure they explained properly, and you're going to go a long way in getting your contract signed. Getting paid is man dies from lack of breath, business dies from lack of cash, right? Getting paid is key. From the minute I get a contract signed, I'm starting to get paid. I want a 50% deposit, but then I'm communicating. When my guys leave the shop to go fix that roof, I'm letting them know the guys are on the way. The guys are on the roof. The job's finished. Here's a picture. And you need to know who pays you. Who's the accounts payable person and who signs the check in that company, so that you can track it down in a nice way, but make sure you get your money quickly. And then one more thing. I spoke about fast, right? So we got to get from lead to inspection to proposal, and as quickly as we can. Sometimes we can't control the contract, but then when we get the contract, we've got to move that over to operations in a very clear and concise way so they do the job properly.
Forecasting, I'll pick up on this. You know what? Forecasting is possible. You actually can forecast your business and know what it's going to look like and be within 10, 15% of that forecast as you get good at it. So we talk about this at STG a ton, and we want you to be able to predict the future. You have controlled growth and have more freedom, right? So next step, Next slide. So metrics to track for marketing. What is your
Yeah.
sales goal, right? What is your lead to inspection ratio? What is your sales closing ratio? What is your average sale in dollars, your average ticket size? So an example, right? We want to do $1 million. We have our lead to inspection is 80%. We close 50%. Our average ticket is 1,800, right? So in order to hit our goal, we need 27 leads a week, 21 roof inspection, 11 contracts, 19,230 sales per week. As you get more proactive, you know how to sell more value, your relationships are better, your client profile is getting better, you're getting better customers. Guess what happens? Your closing ratio goes up, your average ticket goes up, and then your business grows, right?
Yep.
Your referrals go up, and it's a beautiful thing. We'll continue. Next slide.
And we could be ahead this week or we could be behind this week, but we know this week exactly where we are. I love the book, The 12-Week Year. You know, make a month a week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here we go. Sales metrics. Go ahead, Ron. You want to chat about
what's
this?
the number accepted? What's the number rejected, right? You rejected the lead. What percentage of leads that qualified for an inspection? What's the accuracy of the data in the process? You got to have a CRM for this and track this stuff. What's the number of roof inspections completed a week? And proposals delivered, what's the number of proposals? We should have a goal for these, the number of dollars, number of maintenance contracts offered. And in sales, number of sales made, number of dollars of those sales, current closing ratio, and average gross profit earned. Now you could track this, but what you really want is a trailing average over time. So that's when it becomes really predictable, because you can actually go to sleep at night knowing it's all going to be okay, right? Because you have a law of averages, and I could tell you guys, the law of averages really works. If you study that stuff, it is a profound. I saw a documentary one time. I wish I had it at the top of my head. The law of averages really works, and if you have enough of a sample size of data, you can predict, and that's what we're all about here. Sales data here.
And look at this, Ron. Here we even just talking about a 4-week rolling average. But if you got a 4-week rolling average, you know what the trend is. Are we trending to the positive or are we trending to the negative? What do we have to do to fix that?
Right.
Another metric we don't talk about a lot is the labor side. Job costing, as far as service is concerned, it's fast, it's quick, you get a lot of jobs, but you need to job cost this, and you got to come up with a system that works effectively. You got to make sure that your inventory isn't going to fix your neighbor's roof, without you knowing.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of labor, I just want to throw in a little bonus conversation here, I think, which is gross profit per labor hour. Now, if you guys aren't looking at gross profit per labor hour, you should. We all look at our costs and we mark them up, right? But you know how many hours are in that job? Take your gross profit and divide it by the number of hours, and that's your gross profit per labor hour. Let me just give you an example why this is important. And it's important in re-roofing especially, and it's also important in service. Here are 2 simple jobs. They're $10,000 each, and our gross profit on each one is $5,000. The one has $1,000 in material, the other has $4,000 in material. The one has $4,000 in labor, the other has $1,000 in labor. If you pay $50 an hour, this job on the left is going to take you 80 hours, and your gross profit per hour is going to be $62. On the right, that job's going to take you 20 hours, and your gross profit per hour is $250. So think about repetitions. How many times can your guy go out and work? He's working 40, 50 hour week every week. At the $80 per hour, you can do 25 repetitions with one guy. You'll make 125 grand out of that guy. But look what happens if your gross profit per hour is higher, $500,000 out of that same employee. So
yeah, we got this when we were together in that company, the leadership team. We followed Good to Great, and they have the headshot concept, right? What can you be the best in the world at? What are you deeply passionate about? What's your economic engine? And one metric drives this business. It's gross profit per man hour. That's it.
Exactly.
So we can help you launch and scale your service business. Many of you guys have been asking in the chat, and we just want to invite you in to see what that looks like right now. Next slide, please. So we have about 50 or so companies thus far We launched this late last year. We have 100 students in our Service Accelerator program, okay? This is a very thorough process that Brian has worked on with STG to help you with this process. We have 25 phases. Each of the phases on the process of that map that you saw, that roadmap, is the actual course subject with downloads, pinups. We have over 80 documents, swipe files, worksheets to anchor the learning and to plug and play and get you in. And then we do weekly group coaching calls with Brian in which he reinforces those subjects, okay? What's also really cool is we have one-on-one support with STG business strategists and with Brian in between those week calls to get you guys up and running, okay? So what we do is really powerful there, and we're really grateful. We have a lot of folks really helping. If you can go through a couple of the slides at the end, documentation there. We have some results, and then we'll do Q&A and wrap it up. Results with our customers: Jim Bush, Weather Shield Roofing. He's grown. This is his review of us out of Michigan. Fantastic program. Gary Kopp out of Ontario. He's like, look, an actual roadmap with real details how to sell. We're at a point now where we're seeing real like ROI. We've gotten folks that are way ahead of goal in Q1 now as a result of what they've built in the last 6 months with us. And, super, super excited about the way this is going with our friends that have been working with us. You guys are invited. This is Paul. He's actually got some incredible success stories so far as well. So I want to get some Q&A going. We've had a couple of questions pop up earlier, and one of them was, how do we get techs that are trained, to be excited about working for the business? Trucks can be bought, leads can be generated, estimating minimum set. How do you attract the service techs from Michael, who knows what they're doing and aren't running their own company? So Brian, I'll say this for one, have a nice backlog and a great brand and be a great place to work, right? For one. Brian, we could talk about the latter as well.
Yeah.
And if you want.
Yeah. So what I found is people like to have a pathway forward, right? How am I going to progress in this company? So in every interview I did, we looked at how you can progress. What will we teach you? What do you need to learn to go to the next step? And that way you can see an increase in salary for them. The other thing is they can't be asking you for a raise. It's like, give yourself a raise, get these skills. And you know what? You can teach them yourself, right? You throw down 2 pieces of plywood and you can start torching a cap sheet and teach people how to do that. Get a Leister gun, start welding a boot together, you can teach people. Get your sheet metal guy to do some instruction. So start building your own team and getting your own team better. But having that path forward, I found we were attracting better people to the company.
Right. And we also, bonuses for referrals and 90 days if they stay on, stuff like that. But yeah, this is good. Let's go to the bonus slide and toward the end here as we wrap up, Brian. So
Hey.
Oh,
we lost it.
wasn't it at the end?
Yeah,
Right?
I got it.
Okay. Coming back to the screen.
Coming back.
Background. Cool. So here's the next step. Claim your free bonus. You're going to get a free roofing service evaluation. Okay. Scan here, and you're going to have a one-on-one consultation with Brian. How long is this set up for? Is it 30 minutes, I think?
Yeah, typically 30 minutes.
It's about 30 minutes. You'll have a one-on-one consultation with Brian. We'll give you some customized feedback on your goals, insights to develop and grow your commercial service division, and more. You get to ask questions in that moment. Scan here. We do have a program, right, called Service Accelerator that we invite people into. So after that, if you guys want to join, we'll be able to walk you through what that looks like as we kind of preview today. And look, this is not just for brand new service departments. This is for expanding, growing service departments. We've heard people working with us who've been doing service for 10 years say, you have shaved years off of our development. Okay. And Jason just asked, do you have anything for residential service business? Brian, you want to speak to that?
Look, I love residential repairs. I don't think they're a whole lot different. What's different is getting paid. You know, you're dealing with a homeowner who's got a really strong invested interest in that. So if you're able to work with residential people, residential repairs are a great income source, and multifamily residential is a gold mine. So go after those. I see Steve also had a question a little bit higher up there. Ryan.
Is it possible to just specialize in roof repair service versus doing complete re-roof?
Yeah. So I have a friend who does exactly that. He's got 3 trucks, and that's all he does is repairs. And he's very comfortable with it. You know, obviously repairs is a lot of smaller transactions, and every now and again, if you get a nice big re-roof, that's useful. But you can certainly make a, in fact, if you look at this friend of mine, he plays more tennis than he does repairs. So
and look, like if you have a really good commercial re-roof partner, and that's like, hey, we just do re-roofs and not service, which there are some out there. It's essentially 2 companies working together. They could feed the other, right? So the re-roof could feed the service, and the service could feed the re-roof, and see those kind of partnerships form in your market.
And I'll mention, Ryan, that some we got 50 clients in our course, right? A couple of those are doing $10 million in service sales. So, you know, this isn't like baby steps here. We're dealing with contractors who are growing from, 10, 15 trucks going upwards.
Yep. So join us on this. So we have some time left here. Lynn's asking, can we do $10 million in service without a re-roof division? Is it possible?
Yeah, we'll have a look at, should we go and have a look at our calculator there?
Sure.
We know how many leads we're going to need because that's a nice, easy number to work with. All right. So to do $1 million, you need 27 leads. So 270 leads. You'll need to increase your average sale. Look, I'd like to see your average sale to be running over $4,000. And that's going to halve the number of leads you need. So, but you're still going to need north of 100 leads a week to be able to do 10 million in re-roofing. And then look at the number of roof inspections you're going to do, the number of contracts you're going to have to sign. It's going to be a big company with a lot of people doing inspections running 10 million. I mean, we had nine inspector salespeople. So, and that's the number we were running at.
Yeah. Any more questions here?
So, Rye, there were a couple more that came through earlier. I can read off for you.
If we want, we could even have them unmute if we want, allow them to speak if we know them by name.
Yeah, so Michael was saying trucks can be bought, leads can be generated. He was asking how to attract a service tech who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, we addressed that
already
question.
Running. Okay, we got that one.
Yeah.
How about Stephen Brownie? Is it possible to just specialize in roof repair service versus doing complete re-roofs?
Yeah, got that one.
And the last question I logged was, let's see. Oh, it was Lynn, and she asked again. So we got them all.
All right.
Rick, I'm going to let you ask in real time. Rick Keck, here we go. Say unmuting. Go ahead, Rick. You are unmuted. You can unmute. We have a few more minutes. Go ahead, Rick.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just a couple of quick questions because we have a production department. We're starting a separate entity almost, or division of that company to do only service work. I know of a company in Florida. I don't know if it's the same one you guys went to, but they were doing 80% production work and they went to full service work, and they increased their profit margin exponentially. And then they ended up within 3 years having like 44 trucks, and they were doing nothing but service work with hardly any recover work. So what does your growth pattern look like if you're starting out and you have 2 trucks and you have your in-house training, what your expected revenue is per truck, and how fast did you grow the company? What's the average, or what's your experience been for growing a company if you're doing just service work?
Rick, you should shoot to get over $400,000 per truck. That's a goal that you want to shoot for. And one of the reasons I offer the service matrix and an evaluation is to just put those numbers into perspective, because these are all numbers you can calculate. So if you'd like to get together, we can talk about this. But so you want to get about $400,000 per truck. Now you can divide that into how many leads you need, how many inspections you need, what closing ratio you need. You know, it's a matrix. But the way to grow your business is going to depend on your backlog. If you've got a couple of weeks backlog consistently, you're needing to add another truck. So that's going to drive your decision. And so the writing is generally on the wall, but we can plug into my calculator that you want to do 5 million in service. And we look at your average closing ratio, your average contract size, and we can tell you exactly how many leads you're going to need, because that's what's going to drive your sales.
And do you also break it down to like, we were figuring like a two men per truck, and your billable rate is $75 an hour per man per truck, and you work it out that way. So you break it down.
Exactly. You want to. This will tell you how many trucks you need. And this is why it's important to look at that gross profit per labor hour, because if you can understand your gross profit per labor hour, you know how many hours you're going to be using up on every contract. So that's important. And then the other thing is it's very hard to grow the business just on a $75 per man rate. You know, we don't want to be just doing time and material work. We don't want to just be billing for hours. What we want to do is quoted scope work. So we want to enlarge our average job size. We want to get into some of the tenant finish business. That's going to help you. Another area where it's very useful is multifamily residential. You know, you're probably familiar with HOAs. They can't make a decision on when to re-roof. And so you'll repair $1 million before they re-roof. So it's also some of the areas that you focus in are important.
Okay, very good. Yeah, you've got a lot of more stuff to go over with you, but yeah, this is a great webinar. Thank you, guys. Beautiful.
Well, Rick, if you're not working with us, we'd love to at least do a one-on-one and see if we can make an impact and go a little deeper with you. So schedule a time if you haven't already, please.
Yes, we will do that.
You got it. Cool. Stephen, thank you so much. Appreciate the compliment there. Happy to answer any more questions. So if you want to raise your hand or put in the chat that you have a question, we have 7 minutes.
Yeah, here's a question from Peter that I'll deal with. So how do we know how much to charge for a maintenance program if we do 2 inspections per year per building? So Peter, this is starting to sound like I've said it before, but I've got a calculator for this. So not all roofs are equal, right? If you're inspecting a warehouse, there might be a couple of penetrations on it. If you inspect a high rise, you're going to be crawling under pipes and you can hardly see the thing. So you got to take into consideration the square footage of the roof, and you got to take into consideration how busy the roof is. How many penetrations are there? What are you going to be inspecting? So the calculator that I've got, and in fact, we can go through this if we do an evaluation together. I'll show you how the calculator works. You just put in those criteria. You know, what's the square footage? What category is this going to be in? How many times are we going to inspect it? Makes a difference. And I would suggest that your inspections should include maintenance. So you don't just need to do an inspection. If you get a maintenance contract, when you're going up there, let's say you are going twice a year, seasonal, when you get on the roof, spruce the roof up, And so you know that it's not going to be leaking in the future. As the roof gets older, you'll increase the price of the maintenance program.
Great. Peter, let us know if that was what you wanted to hear. Ben, you can find out the cost of our program by booking a call, and we'd be happy to walk you through our options. We got the reactive option and the proactive. I'm just kidding. No, we have we'll show you our options. So please, Ben, please book a call, and we will walk you through the pricing and what it looks like. So look, like, if you don't have any more questions, we're gonna kind of wrap this up here. Don't jump off yet. If you never tried launching a service department before, it can sound scary, right? But I could tell you, if you could have a roadmap with a GPS setting to say, I'm gonna go from here in this new car, in this new town, in this new place with these new people, and go here, and you had someone walking you through exactly how it's going to be, knowing that on the other side, you're going to have predictability, high margins, relationships, consistent revenue that turns into private negotiated work that's going to support building a local long-term relationship in your market and a brand, you would do it. So I know it sounds scary, but if you looked at any solid commercial roofing company in the industry, everybody's going to tell you that the service department is the actual secret weapon. And that is something that takes some courage to launch, but it hasn't been until recent years where you could actually learn from others and experts to shave years off of your learning. And now we're here at this day and age in this industry at such a time as this to have help. Don't be an egotistical self, like, I got this, I'm good. That's what my mom and my dad did, man. They struggled. They didn't think they needed help. And I saw them hit the pitfalls and walk right into them. I wish they didn't. I wish other people, look, it's all good. That's what's motivated me to start this business, so we can help this industry be more professional, more prosperous, more abundant, transforming their businesses into opportunities to grow, help grow people. It's a very powerful thing. And like, when you have the business, the money coming in, the systems, the processes, it just makes that a very enjoyable experience. Service is where it's at. I don't care if you live in Southern California, Northern California, South Florida, Idaho, North Dakota, Maine, Texas. We're in North America, and people want to make their roofs last longer. Okay. And, so if all this did was, would it be worth it if it was like, hey, all I had to do was learn, put the systems, processes in place, and focus on it, and this was my outcome? Would it be worth it? I've seen people struggle with their service business because they've essentially tried by trial and error, but then they had to get their bread and butter, their re-roofing service or a residential business or whatever it may be. They had to keep that going, and they didn't give it enough time. And it's less about how long it takes. It's less about what has to be done and more about like doing it within the right, like, accelerated path, right? You want to take all these things that need to be built and build it like a Lego kit. If I gave you all the pieces of a Lego kit without instructions, I mean, imagine you would create some sort of cool looking thing, but it wouldn't be nearly as awesome as the one that you see on the box. And what we want to do is build a service department that is top of class, top of industry, for your clients and for you. It's better to have a pathway. It's better to have a pathway.
Ron, the other thing about that is, this, running a business, you're running into pitfalls where you don't expect to hit them, right? And having this process map, we can identify where the problem is, and then how do we fix that? By going deeper into that particular problem. So it's just a matter of having help and also having a plan that'll take you to 10 million or to whatever size you want to go.
The thing that holds people back from this is fear, anxiety, failed attempts, tried before, didn't work, tried a consultant, took my money and ran. It's just, there's fear on the other side of this. Wanted you to know that you don't have to feel that fear. We've gotten this process worked. It's so baked that you're in great hands. The only thing holding you back from building this great service department is access to the information, the systems and processes, your ego and your pride, and your commitment to building it, right? That's what you need, is that, hey, I'm humble, I'm teachable, I'm ready to do the work, and we'll shave years off of that process. And what you will have is a thriving service business that will help you land accounts, and it's awesome. So I want to just thank you guys for being here. Our time is up. Schedule your commercial roofing service evaluation, and we will walk you through that calculator and that process with Brian. And if you're interested in working and partnering with Sales Transformation Group with our Service Accelerator product and coaching, we will be available to walk you through what that looks like. And if you're the committed contractor who's ready to do the work, we'll invite you into work with us. Okay. So we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for joining this webinar. If you want a copy of the slides, just go ahead and email us. You can also email Nathan at salestransformationgroup.com or Brian. In fact, we'll make sure that we get it to you and that you guys are taking action on it. So thank you guys a ton. Hopefully see you soon. Join our community, join as a customer, and do what everybody else wants to do, but just do it faster. All right. Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate you. You guys are free to leave. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Bye-bye.